Hi, thanks for joining in with today's Lakeside Chat. It's good to be together. Although we're having to figure out how to be together in the most creative of ways. In recent weeks, Calumet has done that using technology, sharing videos for kids to remember how to make a bracelet, to explore creating a compost pile at their homes. John has tried to help us sing together, even though we're in far off places. Adrian has kept us laughing, and she's competed with Adam to figure out what kind of tater tot is actually the best. We've had daily reflections and Sunday moments provided by Deacon Judy Smith. And each Wednesday, we've gathered for worship on Facebook Live. We're going to find all sorts of other ways to be together. And today, we're going to think more about what that looks like and how Camp Calumet will move ahead to ensure that we are on solid ground for the years to come. Welcome. Hello there. I'm glad you're here at beautiful Camp Calumet for our Lakeside Chat. I'm Knute.
I'm Karl.
And
it's really windy.
You know what? We were set up. It's true. We should say we were set up a little bit further that way because we wanted everyone to see how beautiful everything was, and the wind was something else. And Rob, who is for those of you who know a little bit about camp, on Wednesdays we have Hold an Evening Prayer, and Rob is participating in front of the camera for those things. Well, Rob today is behind the camera, and he was excited about that. Hey, Rob, say hi to everyone.
Hi, everyone.
That's pretty good. But because of the wind, we decided to move a little bit in front of the dining hall to give us some shelter from the wind. I'm also thankful that we have Calumet's Director for Kids, who's behind there making sure everything goes okay. Adam, say hi.
Hey, everybody.
Nice. And also, I'm so thankful to Jack and Spence Ogren for helping us set all this up. It takes a lot of us to figure all this out. So we decided to do a Lakeside Chat because there's been a lot going on at camp and a lot of decisions that have had to been made. And frankly, there are going to be more complicated decisions that are going to have to be made. And I'm very thankful because all of us on the staff, we get to know that excellent minds are taking care of figuring out all of the details about things. Adam and Karl, leading up to our decision about resident camp, participated in all kinds of meetings and
things.
Oh gosh, with who? ACA was one?
ACA, Lutheran Outdoor Ministries, the state of New Hampshire, the health department, a couple insurance meetings. Ugh.
A lot went into that decision. Things that would be very, very difficult to make sense of if you're not really in the loop on things. And then Karl worked with the board on figuring out the timing of this and making sure everyone was clear on how it all needed to happen.
I was very lucky. When we decided we had to make the call, they were quick to meet, they were quick to act, they super supportive in the process, and I appreciate that.
It shouldn't surprise us because Camp Calumet has all sorts of people that are so supportive, and it's no surprise to me that the whole board of directors is always seeing to it that the best can be done and that we get the support that we need. I'm so thankful to them. But we've had, however much we have tried to communicate how things are, knowing We don't really know how things are because things are changing all the time, and lots of decisions that will have to sometime be made. We can't make them because we're still waiting to hear information from the state and other authorities. We have heard questions, feedback, concerns from people, and we thought this would be a nice opportunity to respond to some of those things. And so I want to thank three friends who have helped us with those questions, and I think that we can take that first question right now from Mark.
Hey, I'm so sorry to hear about the resident camp for kids, but it is completely understandable. Is it true there's a separate process for the family camp?
Thanks, Mark. That's a great question and a complicated question. In some ways, the call for resident camp was I don't want to say easier because it certainly wasn't easy, but there was clear things that we followed and clear input we got from a whole bunch of people. Family, I've spoken to the board the past couple months. We really have 4 different areas that we're playing with. Resident camp, done. We have our family campground, and the guidance in the campgrounds in New Hampshire is all over the place. We have our conference center. Well, our conference center falls under hotels, but our village cabin really falls under motels, but I only count that as one because of separate entrances. And then our dining room. We follow the rules of restaurants, and all of those are not allowed right now, except for the family campground, depending on how you read certain things. Now, I expect in the next couple of days, we're going to start hearing some more information. Those meetings are scheduled, and we hope that that information that's given to us by the state will help us decide how and where the government talks about phasing, different phases. New Hampshire talks about flexing things open. And we hope that the information that we'll receive in the next couple of days will help guide us about how we're going to one of those flex phase open.
And my listening to all of you and your deliberations, it seems to me that part of why we aren't making any big decision now is because we hope that we will be provided leadership from ACA and the state, for instance, to allow us to do something.
Yes.
But if we had to decide now, it wouldn't. I don't think many people would be faulting us for.
The only decision to make now would be that we don't open the majority of our places because they're not allowed to be open right now.
So we're not dragging our feet here. We just want to be open if we can, as much as we can, and we just don't know that yet. Was that a good answer, do you think?
Well, that's the answer.
I think it was a good answer. Hey, Mark, thank you very much. Mark is from Emmanuel Lutheran Church in Hartford, Connecticut, and he and his family come to camp all the time, and we love when they're around. Okay, so we have another question from Diane.
There's a lot of work going on around camp these days. Can you give us an update on these projects and where the funding for those projects has come from?
It's another great question, Diane. We have been very busy. We have been doing a lot of projects. Some of those were planned. Some of those were things that we knew we were going to be doing this spring, like the foundation of the Oasis being put in, a lot of the site work for the Oasis being completed. We have also been doing some other things. We started this winter re-roofing 13 different buildings on camp and adding porches onto them, all the girls' senior and junior cabins. We this spring put a deck on, and to be honest, we did the deck right now because there was no one here. And it was going to be a lot easier to do not having to close off different entrances. Right now we're working on replacing some windows and some siding on the conference center. Again, no one's here, so we can leave the rooms under construction as we replace those windows. All of those things that I just mentioned are all made possible by gifts that were received that were specifically for capital improvements around Calumet. And we're blessed and lucky, and that we have these types of gifts that allow us to do these things. The deck was really an opportunity. Here's our window. Let's get it done, and it's come out really nice. And on top of that, all these little things. We've painted more buildings this year in the past month and a half than have been painted in the past 6 years, and that's through normal maintenance stuff and done by our staff. Our housekeeping and our food service staff has essentially stained or painted the whole conference center. And I'm thankful to their enthusiasm for doing it.
Well, and it's great because Camp Calumet has, we've been able to say, hey, everyone, whether you work in the office or you're working in the kitchen or work wherever, we have stuff that can get done. And it's put us in a position of not having to make really complicated decisions that for some places they've had to do that. And who knows, we may have to do things too. I don't know. But for now, we're able to keep everyone together so that we can be ready.
Although apart, doing their tasks.
True.
Jeez.
So that when the time comes that we can start doing everything the way we always have, we have our staff ready to do that. So that's a cool thing. About the Oasis is that year-round large group meeting space that's behind the village cabins up by the conference center. And we're able to do that because basically three things. The Lutheran Church of Framingham gave us a big gift when they were selling their church buildings. That was a big deal. When Pastor Nancy Beckwith died, she remembered Calumet with a gift, a nice gift to help us with building the Oasis. And also Nellie Borner, a longtime Calumet supporter and visitor, died in recent months. I guess it was the end of 2018. And her estate provided for funds to handle capital improvements. We can do things because people have planned things out, and it's important that you know that, because our annual fund this year is going to be a challenge for us. And it can't be the case that people think that we have all the money in the world. We don't. But okay. So thank you, Diane, for that question. Diane is a member of First Lutheran Church in Lynn, Massachusetts, and that was cool. We have another question from Sophie, and we'll take that now.
Is camp going to be okay this summer? Are we going to be able to survive a summer without campers?
Yes, Sophie. Yes, Sophie. Camp is gonna be okay. We're not. There's no for sale sign on the road as you drive by. There are things that we don't know. We don't know what this summer is gonna look like. We don't know what the fall is gonna look like. By golly, we don't know what next summer is gonna look like. There's a lot of information out there, a lot of speculation. When this all started, we did a bunch of things to limit expenses around camp, and but there's no talk of the board saying we have to get rid of the place, and at least at this point, and Calumet Nation is that's no one's going to let that happen, and but it's a great question, and it's not the first time I've heard that question, so thanks for it.
So with Sophie's question, and she's a good sport because she shared the question on behalf of many people who've wondered about that and asked that. The answer is a good one from Karl, and it also is an answer that Calumet Nation gives to Sophie, because we aren't going to let that happen. But we are going to have to work a little bit harder. The closure of the kids camp in 2020 is a big concern, and the unknowns about the fall, and so that's a big concern because our biggest income stream is money that comes from registrations. All right, well, we don't have any registrations. So it means that we're going to have to find more money for the annual fund so that Camp Calumet can be ready to be meeting the needs that come when the time comes that we can do that. So my job, I joke with people that my job is to find all the money. His job is to spend all the money. It's funny, right?
It's very funny.
So we're going to find some more money. And I don't know how we're going to do it exactly, but I have some ideas, and I've thought some things through, and I want to share with you some of my thinking, and maybe we can see that right now. Can we do that, Rob? Here's one way that we can figure this out together. In the graphic you see in front of you, there's a yellow block with the number 1,000 in there. That 1,000 indicates number of donors. This group of donors will be made up of people for whom it simply isn't possible for them to step up their giving this year. In fact, just doing what they did last year, well, that could be a challenge in itself. For most of Calumet's donors, what happens here is so vitally important that a gift to Calumet is among the last cuts to the family budget. We know that this is a very challenging time for so many. If this rings true for you, please know that your gift to Calumet is important. If you aren't able to step up this year, we totally get it. Thanks in advance for doing what you can to keep your support in 2020 in line with what you're able to do in 2019. Then there's a blue box. You'll see the number 500. That's 500 donors, and this is the group we need to help Calumet with a gift at the level they gave in 2019 plus a little bit. We're hoping those 500 people who are part of Calumet Nation will make a gift in 2020 that will be whatever they gave in 2019 plus 25% more. What does that look like? A gift of $25 in 2019 would be a gift of $31.25. A gift of $100 in 2019 would be a gift of $125 this year. And for those who gave Calumet $1,000 last year, that would mean for 2020 a gift of $1,250. Can you join with 499 other people from among Calumet Nation to hang out with the Blues this year? That would be awesome. There's a purple box. You'll see there's a number 250 in there. That's 250 donors. If we're able to keep things going this year, it will be because 250 donors came through with a gift of whatever they gave in 2019 plus an additional 50%. A gift in 2019 in the amount of $25 would be $37.50 this year. For those who gave $100 last year, that would be $150 this year. And for those who gave $1,000 last year, that would be $1,500. You think you could be one of the purple donors this year? We need 250 of those donors. Maybe that's a good fit for you. There's a green block. That has a number of 200 donors. Now, the idea of having 10% of your institution's donor base double their giving during a particularly complicated time, well, that's sort of nuts. But that's what we're hoping can happen. We need to find 200 donors to give double what they gave in 2019. That means if you gave $25 last year, we need 50 this year. If you gave 100 last year, we need 200 this year. And for someone who gave $1,000 last year, that would be a gift of $2,000 this year. It's a big ask, I know. But the challenges we face here at Calumet are pretty big too. We need 200 people, at least, to be in the green group this year. And finally, there's a little red strip there, and that's 50 donors. There's a small slice of donors who we need to step up in the most serious of ways. This is a group of people who will be giving their 2019 gift to Calumet times 5, times 10, or times a number that's even bigger than that. The red group will be made up of people who are the type who've said over time, hey, Calumet, if you're ever in a bind, reach out to me. If camp ever needs anything, I'll be there. The red group will be made up of people who are in a position to make a substantially more generous gift to Calumet this year as compared to their typical generous gift in normal times. These people will be able to carve out resources from spots that are tucked away for the rainy day. This is the rainy day, my friends. The red group will be made up of people who gave $25 in 2019, but who will send $1,000 this year. This group will be people who maybe they're retired and they've never made a 5-figure gift before, but they'll send Calumet a large gift from their retirement account. Why? Because Calumet is a place, a community that welcomes every single one. Calumet changes minds, shifts thinking, sands down the edges, encourages newness, creates opportunities. And all of that happens because God is working through a beautiful and sacred community called Calumet. We must, if at all possible, keep Calumet on track to do the work God needs doing. That's not to say Calumet always gets it right. Heck, this place, this community isn't perfect, but we're faithful and we're hopeful. We humbly trudge along, ready to greet another new friend, warmly embracing the one we've known forever, welcoming a spirit of goodness so that God is made known in a broken world. If you, thanks for listening to that that little video. But there's a section of that I didn't mention. It was a section in orange, and it had the number 650. And that is a group that we need to find, 650 donors who don't typically give to Calumet. Now, I'm not worried about that because at Camp Calumet, we know that there are some number of handful of thousands of people who visit each year. We have people who visit here that who have not yet participated in giving. We also have young alums who can participate. We also have members in our congregations who can participate. I need your help to find all those people and to ask all those people. And this is the time for Calumet Nation to participate in the asking. And some of you who go to a church, this might be an opportunity for you to engage people who go to your church to talk about the importance of supporting Calumet. We also have an opportunity to do some cool creative things. The Reach the Beach Walk this year, we are going to find 500 people to participate. That's 320 more than who participated last year. And so far, we have 303 people signed up for that walk. Well, each one of those 303 registrants is a donation to Calumet, because people pay $25 to participate in that walk. So you can help us find more people to participate in the Reach the Beach walk. That's one really cool way to invite people to support Calumet. And there are going to be some other cool ways too that we'll unveil in the coming weeks. The big thing that we're going to do this year is concentrate our efforts on one day, and that day is June 28th. That's the day that we normally would be receiving the campers on day one of week one. That's not going to happen this year, sadly. So I have some ideas about what that looks like. Rob, can we play that?
So how will we do this? Calumet will undergo a one-day campaign on June 28th. We've done these events before, and they tend to be sort of fun and festive, and even a little bit weird. One time during one of our one-day campaigns, longtime Calumet cheerleader Karen Peterson knocked Executive Director Karl Ogren into a dunk tank. It was awesome. In fact, just for fun, let's take a look at that for a quick minute. Calumet likes to figure out how to make things fun and interesting. We'll have some fun ideas for June 28th when Calumet Nation comes together for 2020. June 28th, as many of you probably know, would have been the day when Calumet staff would be welcoming campers for day one of week one of 2020. Sadly, as you all know, that won't happen. In hopes of turning that day from sadness into some semblance of fun, we've chosen June 28th for our big 2020 response. During the week of June 21st, leading up to the big day, we're going to call 2,000 households to make sure as many as possible are in the loop about the big day. How will we make those calls? Good question. Volunteers, nearly 200 of them. During the week of June 14th, those volunteers will choose from a training session called Big Time Unit Time. We'll have 5 of them from which people can choose. There will be at least one morning session, at least one afternoon session, and at least one evening session, so as many as possible can participate. Well, how are we going to find those volunteers? Starting tomorrow, May 29th, we'll be looking for you and for others in Calumet Nation to come through. I've already put together a list of 200 people who I will ask, but hopefully, and quite honestly, I prefer that you consider volunteering. Send me an email, knute@calumet.org, with the words Big Time Unit Time Volunteer in the subject line. Once we assemble our team and have our great Big Time Unit Time sessions, and we make our calls, and we have our awesome June 28th one-day campaign, we are going to be very, very well set at Camp Calumet to weather this complicated storm.
Is that the ending of it? Just making sure Karen Peterson's not around here getting ready to dunk you
You're
with
okay.
a bucket of water or
She's
something.
not here. She's not here.
We've spent the past 2 months, and I'll tell you right now, the guy who's probably here more than anybody else, no, I know I'm here more than anybody else, it's lonely. It is quiet. it is, there are 4 staff members here right now, and I don't know if there's been 4 staff members in the same place since March 15th. And I count down the days where the staff who aren't here, the staff who are coming for a day here and a day there painting something, can stop doing all this stuff and welcome you back to Calumet with open arms, but not hugging, and probably wearing a mask. So I look forward to those days, and I hope they come real soon. And thanks for being here.
Thanks for coming to our Lakeside Chat. I hope that you found that this was worthwhile, that you learned something. I hope that you listening will join me in helping me out by being one of those volunteers. My email is knute@calumet.org. And we're all in this together. This is the time when Calumet Nation has to come together. This is when we need you. For all those times and all those people who said, when camp's in a bind, call me. When camp's in a bind, I'll be there for you. This is it. Thanks for being here. And again, thanks to Rob and to the guys for helping to set up. And we hope that we'll be able to see you soon. Take good care. Peace be with you. Share the peace with people as you leave this Lakeside Chat.
Be safe. Be well.